Hello and welcome. My name is Rashim Mogha and I'm your host for this Empowered Women of the World podcast. This podcast is for you, it is for me, and it is for all women who want to take charge of their career and happiness. In this weekly podcast, we'll talk about technology, we'll talk about leadership, and we will talk about mindfulness. We'll talk about how you can discover, visualize, and actualize your success, whatever that means to you. We will also talk about our common opponent, the conscious and unconscious bias which we deal with on daily basis. And we'll share ways with you to navigate work politics. At the end of each podcast, I will share with you a tip or a resource that you can use to be successful. It's going to be a fun ride, so hop on and join me on this journey every week. There has been a lot going on in our lives. I can tell you that my life has turned upside down in last 4 months. Between dealing with the impact the pandemic has had on my near and dear ones, to preparing for evacuation due to California fires, and now with my kids starting school through distance learning, my life has been crazy. Last 2 weeks we were living out of our suitcases because we were ready to evacuate and at any point in time, because of California fires. So I have been in a constant state of anxiety and have found it very hard to calm down and meditate in the last couple of months. The stress and anxiety were becoming obstacles to me being present in the moment, and my personal life was suffering. I was not able to enjoy even the smallest moments with my family. So a few weeks ago, I actually started practicing this technique called 5-4-3-2-1 technique to cope up with the stress. And it has really helped me because the technique actually uses the 5 senses to focus on the moment and avoid anxious thoughts. And since I have found it to be helpful in calming me down and get through stressful moments, I thought of sharing this technique with you. So here it goes. I start my mornings with this technique usually when I wake up but I'm still in bed. So I start with deep, long breaths. Then I acknowledge 5 things that I can see around me. For me, it is usually the things in my bedroom, like the water bottle on my nightstand and the family picture on our dresser. When you do this exercise, you can acknowledge any 5 things that you can see in your office or home, depending on where you are. Now, the next step is to acknowledge 4 things that I can feel around myself. For me, it's usually my pillow, the mattress, and other things. The third step is to acknowledge 3 things I can hear around myself. Here, instead of listening to my thoughts, I focus on external sounds. For me, it's usually the chirping of the birds, the sound of the wind, or any other things that I can hear in the morning. Other examples can be a dog barking or the sound of the lawnmower. So now that I have activated my 3 senses, the sense of sight, the sense of touch, and sense of hearing, it's time now to activate the sense of smell. I now acknowledge 2 things around me that I can smell. It can be anything from the aroma of the essential oils on my nightstand or coffee that's brewing in the kitchen downstairs. So if you're doing this exercise outside, it can be fragrance of the flowers or that beautiful fragrance when those water from the water sprinklers actually touches the soil. Those kind of fragrances are amazing. And finally, I acknowledge 1 thing that I can taste. For me, since I do this exercise in the morning, it's usually the taste of the coconut oil that I use for oil pulling. But for you, it can be anything. It can be the taste of coffee or taste of tea or the taste of a nice lemon water or any detox water that you are having. I end this exercise with a long, deep breath and a gratitude affirmation. This exercise has helped me start my day on a positive note, especially since I've been finding it so hard to meditate and focus my thoughts. I can no longer do 30-minute meditations because my thoughts are all over the place. But this exercise, I do it in the morning while I'm still in the bed to prevent myself from waking up with thoughts that take me into a downward spiral. Let me know if you decide to try this technique to calm you down. I would also, love to know what other techniques you use to keep yourself grounded and calm. And today's resource for you is the link to the gratitude affirmation skill. The link is in the show notes below. I hope you'll enjoy these gratitude affirmations that I wrote for you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for loving, liking, supporting, and sharing the podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. I love your feedback emails coming, so please continue to keep sending those to me. I look forward to seeing you again in our next podcast. Till then, keep empowering the world.